Welcome to Biohacking with Brittany, a podcast focused on holistic health, nutrition, biohacking, and more. I'm your host, Brittany Ford, registered holistic nutritionist and self-proclaimed biohacker. During the last 10 years, I've focused on healing my gut and hormonal issues through lifestyle changes, nutrition, and of course, biohacks. And now I teach others to do the same. I'm so excited you're joining me today, so let's dive right in. Hi, and welcome to another solo episode by your host, Brittany Ford, otherwise known as Biohacking Brittany. I am excited about this one. I haven't done a solo episode since June of last year, 2020. And that episode is episode 23 if you want to go listen to it. And in that one, I really went through my personal health journey. So I talked about gut health and hormones, all the different testing I've done, how I became a biohacker, how I became a nutritionist, and kind of walked you through the last 10 years or so. And today I'm going to give you an update since then. A lot has changed. And I definitely want to talk about my business and also Emfies and what that is all about, which you know about if you've been following me on Instagram. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. And it's interesting because that episode, I think, is still my most downloaded episode to date, which just goes to show that a lot of people actually want to hear from me and what I'm going through. So, which is really nice. And I love that. And it's cool to have a podcast and be able to share in a different way than just through, like Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all these other places. So to dive right in, I really want to talk about Emfies. Emfies is a new part of my business that I'm developing. And Emfies is EMF blocking underwear for women. Now, first of all, EMF stands for electromagnetic fields or frequencies. And when I first heard about EMF, in 2018, 2019, I was very skeptical. So I thought it was woo-woo. I thought there's no way that the electrical fields from something plugged in from our phones, from our computers could impact our health. I hadn't seen the research. It wasn't even really talked about much just a couple of years ago. And yeah, I was like, nah, this is not a thing. This is not a thing. And here we are. My opinion has totally changed. My outlook has changed, and how I live my life has changed, even in relation to the EMF that I am exposed to personally. So EMF comes from everything that is plugged in. Now, there's different types of EMF, but we're not going to get into specifics today. But basically, anything that has an electrical current that runs through it emits these frequencies and radiation. So major culprits are things like your computer, your phone, anything that uses Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, cell phone towers, etc. And so what we're seeing now is more and more research coming out on how this impacts the human body. I think it's an oversight to assume that the way that we currently live in this technological age doesn't impact our health or our bodies. And a lot of people agree with that. And that's why there's more and more research studies coming out every single year on this. And I actually have a specific EMF focused podcast episode that will be coming out soon that kind of goes into EMF more specifically. But I really want to talk about my journey with it and what I'm doing about it and my story around it. So yeah, last year, as you know, if you listened to my previous solo episode, or if you just follow me on social media, you know that I've been dealing with various health concerns, but mostly around my menstrual cycle. Last year and towards the end of 2019, it was becoming longer and longer, to 2 months to 3 months type of thing. a long time, and my ovulation was delayed. And yeah, and this time last year, I was going through, I don't even know, a PCOS scare, if you'll call it that, and was really frustrated with the beginning of COVID, but also trying to figure out if I had PCOS, and doing multiple tests with this gynecologist, and it kind of just got to a dead end, to be honest. And yeah, I put myself on my own protocol last year, and I'll get into that later in this episode. And along the way, I began to think about the environment that I am in and how this impacts my health. And when you're in the biohacking field, you're very much aware of like supplements and nutrition and sleep and stress and all of these other things, and light. And one of those components is EMF. And I hadn't really considered it until last fall. And I remember, um, yeah, I remember just thinking about this, and then starting to do the research, and seeing that, is this like, or thinking like, is this a problem for females? Does EMF impact ovulation? Does it delay it? Does it impact fertility, pregnancy, birth, babies, like all of it? Like, what role does it actually play in our hormones and in our reproductive health? And, to my surprise, there actually is research on this. And it actually does show that EMF can delay ovulation, which can lead to infertility, because obviously you need to ovulate, regularly to be able to get pregnant. And it does impact miscarriages and pregnancy in other ways, and birth defects, and other things as well, like cervical cancer and endometriosis and PCOS, and these big things that women deal with, that has to do with reproductive health, or just female health in general. And so, yeah, I was kind of surprised. I was surprised that I hadn't heard about it yet. And I was surprised that there weren't really any solutions on the market. So when I was going down this rabbit hole in the fall, I kept thinking like, okay, what am I going to do about this? It's like you read the problem, and you see, okay, yes, EMF impacts your female body. When you have your computer sitting on your lap right next to your ovaries, of course it's going to do something to them. Same with your phone in your pocket. Same with being close to a Wi-Fi router, not being grounded very often, and being in an apartment building surrounded by Wi-Fi routers and phones and electricity and different things that are plugged in. And I was concerned. I was totally concerned. And then I came across this statistic, and it said that 1 in 8 couples struggle with infertility. And that just like blew my mind, because I definitely know 8 couples in my life, and that means that 1 in 8 of those are going to struggle. Like, that is such a high statistic, and it's only increasing when you look at the graphs online. Like, it's only getting worse. And so, what is causing that? Now, of course, like, there's multiple things that lead to infertility in both men and women. It's a very, very difficult issue. Like genetics, and also biochemical pathways, and nutrition, and nutrient levels. Like, there's just so much that goes into it. But it's interesting that there is research that indicates the technology around you is not helping you, right? Like, it's not promoting a fertile environment. It's not promoting an environment that lets your body be as natural and grounded and as rhythmic as possible in terms of menstrual cycles. So I found that very interesting, and kind of blew my mind. And so I started looking for solutions. as you do when you're a biohacker and just aim to fix everything yourself. Um, and yeah, I reached out to a company that I know, and they sent me a EMF blocking blanket. And yeah, I still have it. I'm actually using it right now. And I started sitting with that on my lap every single day. And yeah, just in order to block the EMF from going through, because of what the blanket is made of. So you get specific like fibers and specific types of fabric that like can actually just shield the body from frequencies and radiation from going through. So I started like sitting with this blanket on my lap, um, and I kept thinking like, this is so ridiculous. Like, if I was going into an office right now, there is no way that I could take this blanket with me. There is no way that I could, have this in a meeting. There's no way if I was in school, or walking down the street in a city, which is also like very, like, there's a lot of EMF pollution around you. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's just not practical. So I started looking into other options, and I started looking into female EMF blocking underwear, and was really surprised that there was very limited options on the market. The options that currently exist are awful. They're granny panties, and they're just not something that I would ever wear or ever buy in a million years. Um, and yeah, I wanted something that I could wear every single day that wouldn't have panty lines, that I could wear with anything, that would cover my reproductive parts and come up high enough over my ovaries and protect them. And it didn't exist. And then I remember just sitting there, like, literally, like, this was last October. I remember sitting there being like, okay, if this doesn't exist now, this is going to exist in the next 5 years. And should I make this myself? Should I create the solution that I am looking for? um, I see the problem, I see the solution, and maybe I should just do it. And so that's kind of what happened, to be honest. I started talking about it on Instagram, started getting input, started thinking about what they would look like, how they would function, what's the purpose of them, how effective would they be, and really started collecting research, collecting data on the types of fabric that I wanted to use. I want to interrupt this podcast today to talk to you about Inside Tracker. The truth is, people age at different speeds. The date that marks your birthday doesn't necessarily reflect your biological age, otherwise known as your inner age with Inside Tracker. Learning your biological age may seem daunting, but an inner age is more than just a simple measurement. It's the starting point for you to take control of your health and wellness journey. Inside Tracker is a personalized nutrition platform that analyzes your blood, DNA, lifestyle, and now fitness trackers to help you optimize your performance from the inside out. First, they analyze your body's biomarker data to offer you a clear picture of what's going on inside you. Then they provide science backed recommendations for positive diet and lifestyle changes and track your progress every step of the way. This has been really cool for me. I did my biomarkers, and I also did my inner age, my biological age. And I was very surprised by my results. So I'm 27, and it actually said I'm biologically 19, which shook me because I thought it would be more as somebody who is trying to do a lot with her business right now. Um, but it was really helpful, and it was really cool to actually dig through the results and see what is making me age faster and what is making me age slower. And if you want to do this, I highly, highly recommend doing it. The link will be in the show notes. You can just go to insidetracker.com/biohacking with Brittany. I also have a discount code biohacking Brittany for 10 or for 25% off. And I definitely suggest checking it out if you're interested in looking at your biological age and different biomarkers that can really, really impact your health and optimal wellness. So check them out. Again, the links are in the show notes, and the discount code is Biohacking Brittany. Yeah, I wanted to create something that was cute, comfortable, practical, that you could wear Monday to Friday, at work, at school, at home, and just protect yourself and give women a peace of mind around this topic. Like, if you're going to wear underwear anyway, you might as well wear something that is functional and technical and does more than your average pair. And that's kind of where I was like, okay, maybe I should do this. I I don't, for myself, like, I don't want to worry about EMF impacting my menstrual cycle or fertility. Like, I want to have a product that I can use every day, not think about it, not think about EMF anymore, because I know that that part of my environment is taken care of. It's one less thing for me to worry about. It's one less thing for women to worry about who wear it, right? So that was like the motivation, and that is the motivation. And so, yeah, I kind of am surprised that am I surprised? I don't know. Um, I'm kind of surprised that I developed this and that it's actually happening, like, as an entrepreneur, you kind of have these ideas, you have these moments. One of my favorite words is zeitgeist. And I feel like this is a zeitgeist. Um, yeah. And it just makes me stop and think, because yeah, it's really cool to be developing a physical product, and to be developing something that I would actually wear, right? Like, if this existed in the way that I want it to exist, like, I would not start this company. Like, I would just buy it and use it myself. But there's nothing out there that's made by women for women. There's nothing out there that's stylish enough, that's modern enough, that understands what women need. Um, yeah, and so, it's developing, and it's exciting, and I've loved hearing the feedback from everybody online when I talk about this and talk about Emfies. And we just started the Instagram account for it, and we're getting followers every day, which is cool. And the questions and the comments, and just really promoting something that accepts all women, and like I said, is made by women for women. Um, Cute, comfortable, and practical underwear that makes you healthier. Like, hello, sign me up. I I want to wear a pair every single day. And I'm excited. So we have two styles that are going to start. One color, two styles. The one style is more of a thong based for like leggings and anything with lines. And then the other style is more like full coverage. And we're kind of doing a pre-order first. And so that is starting in April. And I'm really excited about that, because I want to hear what you think. I want to send them out. I want to get reviews, and I just want to know what works with the product, what doesn't work with the product. What colors do you want to see? What styles do you want to see? What sizes do you want to see? We do want to create sizes from, 2x small to 2x large type of thing. Um, and yeah, we have a lot coming down the pipeline of different designs as well. So if you want to be part of the pre-order, group of people who are trying these, like, I seriously suggest you join the wait list, because that wait list is already over, I think, 100 people long. There's going to be probably quite a limited amount for the pre-orders. And yeah, they will be at a discounted price, because again, like, I want to get feedback and I want to hear what you guys think. And so, um, I highly suggest you get on that wait list, and you can do that through the link in the show notes, the link in my Instagram bio. It's also on my website. It's in a few different places. And if you can't find it, just message me or even email me, and I will send it to you. But I really, really suggest you join the wait list. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see see a problem, create a solution, and then bring that solution to life within 6 months. And yeah, for all the entrepreneurs listening, they get it. They get the excitement, they get the lack of sleep and the ever growing to-do list around this. Um, but I think it's going to be cool. And I think if I have this problem, other women have this problem. And so if I can provide a solution that is effective and is like literally designed exactly with you in mind, with your lifestyle and the clothes that you wear, and that's stylish enough and hip enough and modern enough, um, yeah, then I want to do it. So I'm excited. So yeah, I mean, that's all I really want to say about Emfies right now is join the wait list. Get ready for pre-orders because it's going to be huge. And who knows my next solo episode? Who knows what my update will be on this? I really want to get into a couple of conferences later this year, and I know we're in COVID right now, and I'm in Canada, so I can't really travel. But I want to start going to conferences in person at one point as well, like the biohacking conferences, definitely. And yeah, it's cool. So yeah, check it out. Um and yeah, I want to give you an update on my health because my goodness, the last time we talked, like I briefly mentioned, I was going through, I don't even know, PCOS scare slash no menstrual cycle, or not no menstrual cycle, but a very long menstrual cycle. And yeah, I remember last year just being so worried about things and so worried about my health. And it was hard. It was really hard. And things have gotten better, thankfully. Like, I think in 2020, I had 6 periods in total for the year. And, typically you have like 11 or 12. Um, this year so far in 2021, I think I've had 2 or 3, and it's March, so that's great. And my cycle has gotten better for sure. It's gotten better. I'm on very specific supplements. I'm on. I'm very much aware of EMF. I use the blanket for now until I have enough underwear developed for myself to wear every day. I Yeah, I'm very much aware of my sleep and my stress, and I've had my hormones tested a bunch too. I've also had like my gut health tested. I just did a blood test. Oh my gosh, this week. Last week I did a biological age test. Like, there's just so many tests because um I just know a bunch of health companies online and they send me tests to do. So it's kind of cool, but it's kind of tiring, to be honest. um and yeah, and so I'm thankful that my hormones have become more balanced in the last year. I'm thankful that I've gotten my period more often because it definitely gives me peace of mind. Um, Something I was also dealing with really bad last year was my skin, and this was really tough. So when I was in high school, and I mean even university, like I never had skin problems. I never had acne, maybe, like a pimple here and there, um, but never anything to the extent of what I went through last year. And that was kind of from, I think, the fall of 2019 to the spring of 2020. And I had my first like experience with adult onset acne. And thankfully, last summer, like when I started putting myself on this protocol, I was able to actually heal through my skin and get rid of the acne that I was dealing with. I think I was dealing with potentially an increase in testosterone, which leads to not greasier, oilier skin, and which can clog pores, which can lead to acne. And I really worked on that and thought a lot about that. And so it's been really nice since last summer to have much better skin again. And for anyone listening, like if you're going through skin issues, and you have specific questions, like feel free to reach out to me because I have a much better understanding of it now. And I get it because I went through it last year, and I get how, oh my gosh, like how insecure it can make you feel and how bad about yourself. And like, like you just try all the different products and the face wash, and then you pick your skin, and then it gets worse, and then it's red and agitated, and then you like hate looking at your skin in the mirror. Like, oh my goodness, I went through all of that. Like, and you just get bogged down by like the negativity around it because it's so obvious, right? Like it's so on the surface. Um, where like other health conditions, like, there might not be like such a physical symptom associated with it. Like it might not be as obvious, but with skin, it's really, really right there. It's like in your face, on your face, like all the time. Um, yeah. So if you have any questions, seriously, message me, and I can try and help you, and hopefully give you some insight on kind of the protocols that I went through and how I healed from it. I'd like to interrupt this podcast episode to talk to you about massage guns. So, I recently got one for the first time by a company called Hydra Gun, and they will be linked in my show notes for you to take a look at. And oh my goodness, how did I not have one sooner? Massage guns are incredible. It's literally like going to get a professional massage done, but right in the comfort of your home. And I use mine almost every single night. It feels so good. And the one by Hydrogun is amazing because it's so quiet. I found that the other Hydroguns that I have seen before are very loud, but this one is so, so quiet. It's so calming. There's a bunch of different heads that you can put on it that like target larger muscles, smaller muscles, tendons, all different things. And it relieves so much pain and tension in your body. It feels amazing. I love using it after I work out, even after a sauna session when my body is more warmed up. And it feels really good. And especially with sore muscles from sitting all day or tight muscles as well. It can really help. So if you haven't tried a massage gun, I know you've heard about them. I know you've seen them. Definitely check out Hydra Gun. They will be linked in the show notes, as described. And yeah, definitely worth checking out because it feels so good and really helps you recover faster. So yeah, take a look. I did this, and this is going to be a separate podcast episode, but I did a biological age test recently, which was really cool, and checked my biomarkers um, of like nutrient levels and some hormones, and that was through Inside Tracker. And I have a whole episode with them coming out soon, and that was very, very helpful. Just to kind of get a glance at things and make sure everything was good. So if you've ever been interested in doing that, like definitely check out that test. Um, and yeah, last year I did Viome, I did glycanage, which is another biological test or biological age test. And then I also did a live blood cell analysis recently and a whole bunch of other ones. But yeah, there's so many different health tests out there. So if you ever have any questions around what you should get, like feel free to ask me as well because I've done a lot of them at this point. And yeah, and the only other thing I definitely want to touch upon is my Biohack Your Cycle guide. And so this was so interesting. I created this chart, this Biohack Your Cycle chart in like, oh my gosh, I don't even know, beginning of 2019. Like I was still in New Zealand at the time, and I got so many people asking me about it and wanting to download it and curious about it. And so now I'm actually taking the chart, redoing the whole thing, fleshing it out with way more detail, and also adding um, meal plans for the different phases of the menstrual cycle, just because there's different foods that are recommended depending on what phase that you're in. So the whole guide is going to be one beautiful PDF, and that's going to be available on my website soon. We are currently redoing my website right now and rebranding. And so there's a lot of new stuff coming out in the biohacking Brittany world. I feel like I'm in this like major push and shove right now to get everything out by the end of this season, basically end of March, end of April timeline. But yeah, like expect some really cool things coming out. And I'm thinking about, um, if I want to bundle Emfies with my Biohack Your Cycle guide. So my new guide will be available for purchase on my website, but I might add it as a bonus if you pre-order my Emfies underwear, 2 or more, 3 or more orders. So definitely, if you're interested in learning how to biohack your menstrual cycle, look out for that bonus, because that's going to be coming very soon in April, like I previously mentioned. Um, and yeah, I mean, of course, I work with clients one-on-one, and I also help people analyze all of these health tests. So I get quite a few people who have done the Viome test who reach out to me and actually want me to go through their Viome results. And that's been very interesting and cool, because I've done Viome, so I understand how to read it. And it can kind of be confusing, right? Like, you get this 90-page report and you're expected to implement these changes into your life. But like, what if you don't understand what it says? Like some of the terminology is very like scientific, and not a lot of people have that experience. So it's something I do offer now as part of my new services, is like a health test analysis, whether it be Viome or your DNA or biological age or whatever type of test you're doing, is something that I offer, because these at-home tests are only becoming more and more popular, but I don't think there's enough education around the results and how to create actionable steps from the results, so that you can actually see, long-term significant changes in your health, instead of just getting this like PDF or this app and then reading it and being like, okay, cool, now what, right? Like, so it's been cool to kind of like have that shift in my business too. And I just want to encourage you, like, if you ever have any of those results and you don't understand, like, you don't have to book a full consultation with me to go over them if you don't want to. If you just have one specific question, like, of course, just send me a message and I will help you out the best that I can. That's kind of what we do in the biohacking community. I feel like we're very like close knit and all just want to reach and maintain optimal health and help each other kind of get there. And yeah, I actually really love our biohacking community. It's really fun. Um, yeah. I mean, look out for my new website coming out. Check out Emfies, of course, super important. Join the wait list and continue listening to these podcast episodes. I now put out an episode every week. I took a very long break last year while I was developing my business. But now I have a bunch of cool guests lined up, and just a lot going on with the podcast, which is really fun. So continue listening. I really appreciate it. And if you ever have any feedback, feel free to let me know or leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts, because I read all of them. And even on YouTube, I read the YouTube comments as well. And I try and support you guys the best that I can. So yeah, thank you for listening. And I'm excited to hear what you think about my new Emfies coming out soon. Thank you so much for tuning in today. As always, feel free to screenshot this episode and tag me if you'd like me to respond. I really hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you have a question about your health, my DMs are always open and I'm currently taking new clients. Thanks, and see you next time.